Please silence your cell phones. This will be a covered event. Welcome to the Bells Across America for Fallen Service Members ceremony. Since 1936, the last Sunday in September, this upcoming Sunday, has been designated as the Gold Star Mother's Day to recognize and honor those who have lost a child while serving. In 2009, fallen service member families were officially recognized and added by Presidential Proclamation. This day is now addressed as Gold Star Mothers and Family Day. Each year, the President signs a proclamation reaffirming the commitment to those fallen individuals who carry forward the memories of those willing to lay down their lives for the United States and the liberties for which we stand. The Navy is committed to helping foster resiliency for families of fallen service members regardless of how they died. Throughout history, bells have been used to announce or express the gravity of an individual's passing. It's used to communicate sorrow and loss. Today, in association with Gold Star Mothers and Family Day, we will participate in Bells Across America for fallen service members, where the names of the fallen will be read and a single bell strike will occur. At the end, 4 consecutive bell strikes will occur to honor those that we did not name. I'd now like to introduce Captain LaPlante, Commanding Officer at Naval Station Everett.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us today for this very important occasion. Bells have been used by the Navy for safety, communication, and to sound alarms during ceremonies to signal the President of important persons. Today, we're going to use this to signal the absence of very important people. This ceremony commemorates the life and services of our fallen comrades. We celebrate it along with Gold Star Family Day. We want to ensure that they know that we are their family. So they keep them connected with us, and although the family members of our various Gold Star families could not be with us at this event, they are aware that we are holding it, and they are thankful for all the honor that we are doing to their family members. The names we are calling out represent a few of many. Before we begin, let us have a moment of silence to remember our friends and those we have known personally, those of us who are with and have gone before us.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Participating sailors, front and center.
Private David Clark. Airman Recruit Gabriel Groves. Seaman Recruit Ryan Schaller. Seaman Justin Burge. Seaman Eric Doms. Airman Jason Doyle. Lance Corporal Joshua Dumas. Lance Corporal David Finlayson. Hospital Corpsman Riley Gallinger Long. Airman Joseph Ganzer.
Airman Benjamin Huff. Fireman Matthew James. Hospital Corpsman Airman Kent. Seaman Joseph Podolowski. Airman Rudolph Ross. Hospitalman Harwent Singh. Fireman Jeremiah Sim. Lance Corporal Eric Ward. Seaman Christopher Winslow.
Petty Officer 3rd Class Nicholas Arnold. Petty Officer 3rd Class Christopher Bacon. Petty Officer 3rd Class Martin Bidiaco. Petty Officer 3rd Class Bruce Burgess. Petty Officer 3rd Class Adam Klein. Petty Officer 3rd Class Jackson Cone. Petty Officer 3rd Class Chantel Figuera. Petty Officer 3rd Class Jeremy Hummel. Petty Officer 3rd Class Jamie Janicki. Petty Officer 3rd Class Shane Lyman.
Petty Officer 3rd Class Brandon Martin. Petty Officer 3rd Class David Mudge. Petty Officer 3rd Class Marcos Nettles. Petty Officer 3rd Class Connie Persal. Petty Officer 3rd Class Rick Porter. Corporal Stephen Ritamki. Petty Officer 3rd Class Abdul Sar. Petty Officer 3rd Class Byron Susi. Petty Officer 3rd Class Ichman Strickland. Petty Officer 3rd Class Russell Sweet.
Petty Officer 3rd Class Isaiah Thomas. Petty Officer 3rd Class William Vanderberg. Petty Officer 3rd Class Timothy Williams. Petty Officer 3rd Class Aaron Zelli. Petty Officer 2nd Class Jeremy Barrett. Petty Officer 2nd Class Michael Bell. Petty Officer 2nd Class Donald II Bogart. Petty Officer 2nd Class Lee Byron. Sergeant Elias Clark. Petty Officer 2nd Class Aaron Klingman.
Petty Officer 2nd Class Marco Deffenbaugh. Petty Officer 2nd Class Trace Dosset. Petty Officer 2nd Class Krista Evans. Petty Officer 2nd Class Alonzo Gladden. Petty Officer 2nd Class Charles Hatfield. Petty Officer 2nd Class Joseph Howell. Petty Officer 2nd Class Henry Hun. Petty Officer 2nd Class Benjamin Jacobson. Petty Officer 2nd Class Daniel Jovalet. Petty Officer 2nd Class John III K.
Petty Officer 2nd Class Brian Lane. Petty Officer 2nd Class Elizabeth Lindstrom. Petty Officer 2nd Class David Lockhart. Petty Officer 2nd Class Mark Maldonado. Petty Officer 2nd Class Christopher Manning. Petty Officer 2nd Class Kelly Markham. Petty Officer 2nd Class John Matty. Petty Officer 2nd Class Russell Mike Black. Petty Officer 2nd Class Charles Milan. Petty Officer 2nd Class Vince McCullough.
Petty Officer 2nd Class Petty Officer 2nd Class Jared Newlove. Petty Officer 2nd Class Renee Robertson. Petty Officer 2nd Class Jason Schwartz. Petty Officer 2nd Class Benjamin Sharp. Petty Officer 2nd Class Anna Sterling. Petty Officer 2nd Class Richard Stoll. Petty Officer 2nd Class Valerine Unruth. Petty Officer 2nd Class Kevin Vickers. Petty Officer 1st Class Nicholas Baxter. Petty Officer 1st Class Ian Bial.
Petty Officer 1st Class Kevin Bermer. Petty Officer 1st Class Michael Brodsky. Petty Officer 1st Class Ross Brown. Petty Officer 1st Class Sean Carson. Petty Officer 1st Class Michael Cope. Petty Officer 1st Class Robert Benan. Petty Officer 1st Class Ross Douglas. Petty Officer 1st Class Kendall Fraggett. Petty Officer 1st Class Michael Hall. Petty Officer 1st Class Larry Holst.
Petty Officer First Class Letitia Jones. Petty Officer First Class Kenton Larson. Petty Officer First Class Mark Lee. Petty Officer First Class Brandon Long. Petty Officer First Class Jeffrey Lucas. Petty Officer First Class Benjamin Mason. Petty Officer First Class Johnny McCormick. Petty Officer First Class Michael Missimer. Petty Officer First Class Glenn Mitchell. Petty Officer First Class Jason Moses. Petty Officer First Class Paul Richardson. Petty Officer First Class William Richardson. Petty Officer First Class Travis Sims. Petty Officer First Class Billy Spiller. Petty Officer First Class John Wynn Parachico. Chief Petty Officer Derek Bowe. Chief Petty Officer Carolyn Brown Banks. Chief Petty Officer Mark Carter. Chief Petty Officer Elon Crittenden Sr. Chief Petty Officer Joshua Doyle. Chief Petty Officer Pedro Gonzalez. Chief Petty Officer Gerald Cruz. Chief Petty Officer Sean Morgan. Chief Petty Officer Christopher Preck. Chief Petty Officer Shane Takis. Chief Petty Officer Michael Tatham. Chief Petty Officer John Tomlinson. Chief Petty Officer Dabbit Valez. Senior Chief Petty Officer Andrew Diacock. Senior Chief Petty Officer Timothy Gorman. Senior Chief Petty Officer Charles Hudspeth. Senior Chief Petty Officer John Hunt. Senior Chief Petty Officer Anthony Radonsky. Senior Chief Petty Officer Timothy Rupel. Master Chief Petty Officer Julie Dolly. Master Chief Petty Officer Andrew Calaz. Master Chief Petty Officer Beverly Cocos. Chief Warrant Officer Jonathan Gibson. Ensign Craig Demur. Lieutenant Tyler Chalon. Lieutenant Adam McCutcheon. Lieutenant John Fiamingo. Lieutenant Christian Hescott. Lieutenant James Curvella. Lieutenant Patrick Myrick. Lieutenant Carl Norberg. Lieutenant Commander Dwayne Barnett. Lieutenant Commander James Bunnell. Lieutenant Commander Diane Franklin. Lieutenant Commander Robert Goodwin. Lieutenant Commander Alan Patterson. Lieutenant Commander Joseph Wilson. Commander Maurice Fisher. Commander Leon Regelbrug III. Commander Kenneth Rogers. Commander Alexander Tansky. Captain Christopher Hand. Captain Gerald McCoy. Please offer 4 bells for those not mentioned.